G'day warbanders, and welcome back to another video where we are dissecting Devlog 8 here of the overhauled campaign from a game called Master of Command by Armchair History Interactive, or Griffin from the Armchair Historian channel. Great channel. I was watching Armchair Historian for like probably a decade at this point. He's an old channel, and yeah, this is his recent game he's been working on after the mixed reception of Fire and Maneuver. And yeah, I thought I'd just check it out again. I've already looked at it before on the channel, but you know, a lot of work has been done on this game, and it's progressed so much within a couple of months. And what is Master of Command, you might ask? Master of Command is an 18th century sort of battle simulator or army simulator, as you can see here, where you're controlling an army from, you know, the great powers of Europe, from Britain to France to Austria to Russia. I'm not sure if they have the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in there, but you know, it's a battle simulator, guys. You choose your faction, you fight battles. If you ever played Faster Than Light, FTL, the campaign system and the gameplay is similar to that, where you're fighting in different regions, and each region has like a boss in it or a big giant battle to fight. But the whole game is about fighting battles, getting loot, customizing your army, having a full custom army with, you know, randomly generated officers. I love randomly generated gameplay on this channel. Random generation just makes games so much like more playable, more fun. Because if I'm playing a linear game with, you know, a set amount of missions, it's not really fun to me. Like personally, I know people like, you know, linear storylines and shit like that. I don't really like that. I like to play how I want. And this game seems to offer a lot of play styles. It looks very crunchy. But yeah, we're going to check out his this devlog here and have a look at the overhaul campaign. Because I think that the campaign is the biggest part of this game. If it only has battles, it's not going to be, you know, like fun enough, I think.
Don't forget to wishlist Master of Command on Steam.
Already done that.
It's the best way to support the game.
Absolutely.
Hi everyone. This is the
Hello.
8th development log for Master of Command. In this development log, we'll cover the...
I love the map here. It gives me Ottoman General vibes, Ottoman General Civil War vibes. That's another game that's, you know, this game's taken inspiration from is Ottoman General Civil War, which is another battle simulator. But unfortunately, the company's gone bust that made that game, so they don't exist anymore. But I'm happy that Griffin is sort of taking heavy inspiration from that game, because that's a really tight experience.
Overhauled campaign system. But before we do that,
you can see that you fight the Austrians and the British as Frederick the Great. I'm not sure who's playing it. I'm pretty sure he's playing as the Prussians.
I want to show off some new features and improvements. One of the most exciting things I want to show off is that winterization has finally been completed.
Good. We're seeing some different types of terrain. I don't think he's covering all the seasons. I think he's only covering 2, because I think, you know, it's a lot of work, especially in 2D games, to, you know, model everything. So I understand why he's probably not done that.
All maps automatically have both a winter version and summer.
It looks
version,
very nice.
as you can see here. I've been hard at work personally creating these maps, and I plan on creating about 2 per week up until the game's launch. I'm really happy with how winter came out in particular, and if we've got the time, we'll also consider increasing fatigue. And
I wonder if winter's going to majorly affect your battles. Because, you know, I don't think armies, you know, 18th century armies would prefer to fight in winter, because, you know, they want to house up in quarters. Like, there would be some fighting, but in my sort of viewing of history, you know, a lot of them, a lot of armies in this period, they like to set up in towns and have winter quarters. So it'd be interesting to see how Griffin handles the winter side of things. I'm pretty sure he'll just let you keep fighting, because, you know, that's fun. It's not fun being holed up in winter quarters for like a whole season.
Or slowing units down depending on the season.
Yeah, slowing units down.
I've also created multiple post-processing profiles for when we add in weather effects like rain or cloud.
I like that post-process there. Well, you know, makes it more colorful.
Something many people criticized in our last
so there's some weather in the game. That's really nice.
Development log was that in the ultra unit scale,
Will the rain affect how fast the units move? Because like things get muddy. Like, will there be muddy roads? I don't think that's in the game, but it'll be interesting to think about.
the formations looked very blocky and unrealistic. In addition to that, I found that
Yeah, they're too blocky. Not sure they would deploy like that.
the balance of the formations felt off when you've got this many
Exactly.
troops and just one tiny flag representing the entire regiment. So
Yep.
in addition to adding a colonel's color to all regiments, we've also changed
This looks way better because if you see 18th century armies and how they deploy, this is exactly how they do it. They deploy by that sort of shape there with, and you know, you can go more complicated. Like this is a more simplified version of how they would deploy in line. And you know, you don't want to like go too deep into the historical accuracy because it just ruins the game. So I'm happy that he's taking, you know, historical accuracy here and actually applying it in a good way where it's easy. It's, you know, it doesn't impact the gameplay at all. Because if you try and, you know, add musicians and like different, you know, try and get down to the 100% detail, it's the visual. It's going to be like visually not recognizable. Here, it's like, okay, he's made it more historically accurate, but it's still visually, you know, recognizable. So that's great.
changed it so that when you drag out a formation, it automatically breaks the lines into ranks of 3, implying that
Very
you have
nice.
2 battalions formed up in one group. This is not the most accurate depiction of an
Exactly.
18th century regiment.
As you can see here, you lists like a really complicated formation they would form in sort of these blocks, I assume. Or I'm not an expert in 18th century history. I'm really not, but I can see that it's more complicated than what he's showing in the game, and I understand why he's not showing all those little details, like all those men and officers on the side, because it looked very cluttered on the game. Like if you're looking at Battlefield, you want to know exactly what your units are doing, and there's always like little dudes like walking around like outside the formation. It's like it looks a bit weird, like to someone who's, you know,
But it's a
playing the game.
compromise we made in order to improve the look of ultra scale specifically.
Yeah,
And if you aren't a fan of this, you can always play with the normal unit scale.
I'll be definitely playing Ultra because, you know, I love to have big battles if my PC can handle it.
For a much more conventional depiction of a single battalion. Something
No,
will
I like
say is
the
that
2
columns
lines.
look much better on all scales.
Oh,
Now troops travel divided by platoon, which is historically accurate.
that looks great. Only bad thing that I've heard in the Discord is like the units, they don't go faster on roads. Like it makes like roads not useful. Like how the game's set up, you know. I wish Griffin would, you know, add a speed boost on roads, like all in general, make roads useful. But then you'd have to code the AI to use roads to like speed up your army. But you know, it's just a gameplay thing, a little gameplay thing I wish was in the game.
I wasn't gonna do this before, but I decided to
Love these shots, eh? I love the different perspectives he's put in.
go ahead and create some historically accurate battlefields for Master of Command.
These are the Austrians
I first
versus the
started
Russians, I
with
think.
Chostazits,
Is that
which
Russians?
is-
I'm not sure. Nah, probably Russians. Love the battle maps here. Lots of farmland. Again, it'd be like if he went fully historically accurate, it'd all just be farmland, like, and not all this empty space. So, you know, he has to balance, you know, gameplay here, and also the hills. They look a bit unrealistic, but you know, that's fine. You know,
And then with
Gameplay.
Wartburg. I plan on making
but he's got down the historical maps pretty well, I have to say.
Battle of Zor next, which would complete 3 significant.
As you can see here, he's looking at a historical reference. You can see it's all just empty grassland or farmland. So that would be very boring to play in. So that's why he's changed it to be like, you know, a bit different.
significant battles of Frederick the Great's early.
And it's not really that hilly. Like it's a little bit hilly. I could see there.
This is being done because I decided to include a small series of tutorial battles, which will be
Great.
voiced and
I feel like you have to have tutorials nowadays because the first experience is everything nowadays in games. If you don't, you know, show how your game works in a good way, then the people are just going to click off and get a refund, you know. So it's good that Griffin's focusing on the first player experience.
animated, telling the story of Frederick's rise. Here's a preview of the storyboard.
Eure Majestät, ein Verband
Oh, I love when
österreichischer Grenzer, zwei
developers, they use the actual language of the, you know, the soldiers. So just like boring American voice acting. Like, I love it, Griffin. Please keep it going.
Scheinbar sind sie sich unserer Präsenz unbewusst.
Dann werden sie nicht mit einem Gefecht rechnen. Wir
Feels like the voice acting is really good. I wonder how much he spent on this.
greifen an.
We will
All
attack.
cutscenes should be finished in about
And this is based on a famous painting, if I can find it. Prussian attack artwork. I don't know what it's called. 18th century. Maybe it comes up sometimes. Here we go. So that's a real painting that he's based that off, the artwork. And I really love this painting. It just has so much action in it. And I just love that little nod to detail there, you know? It's very nice.
Before we move on, check this out. Despite the game's 2D isometric perspective, you can now
Yeah, that gives it a nice look. It's great he went a bit 3D here, like semi 3D.
hold down C and V.
Very
to
good for
tilt the camera,
cinematic shots.
giving it more dimensionality from afar
Mm.
and allowing you to inspect your troops up close.
One thing I don't like is, I don't know, is this realistic or not, is that they all move in step, like the same time. Like, I just want a little bit of variation there. But I think that, I don't know, if people who are experts is like walking like exactly in time, like really realistic, I'm not sure.
With all that out of the way, let's zoom out and take a look at
Because
the
in a
updated
battle situation, you're not going to be like fully, you know, in step. Maybe at the start of the battle, but as the battle goes on, you know, people are going to make mistakes in their drill. You know, it happens. So, yeah.
campaign. The first thing players will do is choose their faction.
And this is a huge thing for the game, is the different factions. Griffin loves to make different factions in his games and have different play styles, which is really good. I don't like to play the same game over and over again, and I want to try something new. And I love that he's adding all these factions. Hopefully they're all playable in their own way. And he's also adding trade-offs. Oh my God, there's trade-offs and good things and bad things. That's what more games need. We need trade-offs, not just bonuses, not just more bonuses like in Total War games, you know. We need to have some choice, some actual choices in what we play.
Shut up briefly so you can listen to some of the new sound
Shut
effects
up
and
briefly.
music that have been made.
The music is just great.
There are
Who-
5 nations you
Whoever
can
made the
choose
music
from.
is just an
Let's check
expert.
out Prussia. You can see their unique bonus and malus on the right
Nunca
side of the screen.
aristocracy.
We call these stratagems. Once the nation is chosen, you can select between 3 distinct armies to lead. This means there are
I would have liked more stratagems or armies to lead, like more than 3 here. But I'm pretty sure he said you can unlock more, which is great. As you can see here, it's like FTL where you choose a different ship. It's like you choose a different composition that you can build. Will this be restrictive? I don't know. I have to play the game for myself. Because, you know, I would like to have like a more freeform army to build instead of just being focused on these little things here. Or maybe this just adds new unit types. I have no idea. I haven't played the game yet. I've just been looking at the devlogs.
total of 15 unique armies playable.
But yeah, every army has its own stratagems or mini armies, I suppose, or style, which is awesome.
Across 5 nations. Players will start the game with the first army unlocked for each country, and will unlock more by beating the game with each army composition in order from left to right. The stratagems are listed for each army here, and you'll also notice the nation-specific stratagem, Junker Aristocracy, is applied no matter what army is selected. For now, let's start a new campaign as the Prussian
Love it.
Cantonists.
He who defends everything defends nothing. That's an age-old saying. Don't concentrate everywhere. You got to defend your most crucial areas. That's a key thing in wars. You got to like have local superiority. Love it. I love the new sound effects and all that.
So the first thing that happens is 3 random regions are chosen for me to campaign in. Each of these regions gets a
Now, don't get like fooled in thinking this is going to like be a map game where you can control the nation. It's not. You just like, it's just random missions like XCOM where you're sent in and you're dealing with the enemy. Okay.
random mission type.
Now, I assume if you lose too many of these missions, like this bar fills up and you lose. We'll see how it works when the game comes out.
Invade, reinforce, occupy, etc. The mission type
What I'm worried about with this game is that if you lose one battle, is that just it? Like, do you lose? Like, I feel like if you get into like a negative snowball and you start losing stuff, too much stuff, it's going to be like, you know, there's no comeback mechanics. Will there be comeback mechanics? I'm not sure. But I love having comeback mechanics where if you lose a battle, it's not just the end of the world. You can come back. But I'm pretty sure in this game that if you lose a battle, it's kind of over.
Determines the side objectives you are given in order to receive bonus rewards like a
But yeah, it's nice having some incentives.
or a new stratagem.
I would like, you know, there to be some differences in the missions, like, oh, this one's more difficult than the other ones. You know, that'd be interesting to choose. Like, maybe I want to go for an easier mission and have my army be preserved, but like I get less rewards. So I think, is that in the game? I'm not sure. But it'd be interesting to see.
To take a look at the brand new map.
Because what's the difference between reinforce and invade? Like, is it just aesthetics? Probably.
Since dropping the 7 Years' War title from the game, we've really leaned into making this experience feel more procedural and unique.
Love procedural content. Best thing in gaming. I don't care about scripted narrative content, because when you've finished the scripted narrative content, what does the game become? It's finished and you can't play it anymore. Well, you can, but like it'd just be boring. With procedural content, you're able to play the game over and over again with everything being new, everything just being fresh. It's nice.
And so the map was expanded.
Love the UI.
Yourself campaigning as far as Scotland.
Oh, that's hilarious. Why is there an elephant there? Oh, Carthaginian spirit. Lol. Occupied Normandy.
Depending on the mission that's generated for you. For now, we've also kept things
That's
simple.
good.
The player has no influence over the map itself.
Yeah, I think this was a budget concern because Griffin was developing a game before this and he cancelled it. It was called Project Ruby or like something like a 19th century empire building simulator. It was like going to be a similar, like it's going to be like a simpler game, but you could do map painting and stuff like that. I feel like if he had more money and like he was, you know, had the customer base, like there was enough people interested in the game, he would add a map painting system. But you know, right now it works like XCOM where you get missions, or FTL where you get different little systems to go through. I think that's fine.
As a glorified mission.
Because you know, you got to focus on the battles here. Get the battles really nice, have the AI working well, and I think this will be a good game.
The way to beat a full campaign is to take 4 regions, with each
Cool.
getting progressively more difficult.
Love difficulty. I like he's focusing on adding challenge. Okay, unlike other games where they just freely hand you stuff, where the difficulty curve is slowly going down. I want the difficulty curve to be like up and down. That's how a game should be, not just constantly down. In terms of how easy the game is to win. You know.
Each time you conquer a region, a different set of 3 regions is generated for you. Once a region is selected, the player is given a randomly
I
generated.
want to play as Poland, dude. I don't think Poland's in the game yet. I'm not sure.
With terrain features and town names based on the region selected. Before diving in, let's take a look at our army camp.
Cool campaign map.
Here we can see the starting composition of the army we chose, the cantonist.
So very much like Battle Brothers in the sense you have this camp or your sort of soldiers to manage. You give them items. You look at their stats here. You can assign officers like Alderman General, Civil War. So there's a lot of merging of game mechanics here, and I love he's taking inspiration from very good games.
Recruits. They begin with a full division of recruits and a musketeer. They're
And everything's in the armchair historian style, which is very nice.
led by Anhalt Dessau, who starts off with the traits efficient and organized. This will boost reload speed and provide additional ammunition for our troops.
The one thing I worry about this item system and these traits is that will there be a lot of modifier stacking? I'm hoping you won't be able to just like add all these items and just be like uber strong unit. You know, I'm hoping the modifiers are low key and not too strong, because modifier stacking can be a huge problem in games, especially like Crusader Kings 3 where you could stack bonuses over and over again and just get too powerful. So I'm hoping these items are not very strong.
If they run out of ammo from firing
Like, does the AI get these like items? I don't know.
so frequently. In addition to your officer, the starting inventory is also unique for all 15 armies as well.
And we can see that we customize our officer here, which is nice. We can see the total kills and losses and battles fought. So add some sort of stats to check, you know, and go, oh, look, I won like 1 million battles, you know.
Case,
but who cares, bro? No.
To level up the recruits faster, a ramrod to lean even further into the reload speed strategy.
Again, these bonuses, they seem pretty good. Like carry capacity, reload speed, like these seem pretty strong. So I'm hoping that you can't stack these too much. I'm hoping.
A cartridge box to carry more ammo, and one of our new items, a pocket Bible for morale, and tobacco for increased accuracy.
And I assume you get these like when you're in the battlefield or you're buying them from shops.
But decreased stamina.
Like in Battle Brothers.
All the new items we just added to the game last week on screen now.
I love the artwork of all the individual items. Like it's simple but effective, you know. That's what I love in UI.
I also just wanted to mention that every flag.
And you can also customize your own flags, which is a huge thing in video games. Like in Total War and other battle simulators, you can't do that. In this, you can. It's amazing.
The game has been completely redrawn. Plus some.
But he won't make them like fully custom where you can add like your own symbols and shit like that. You can't add dicks or something like that, bro. You just can't.
New ones.
Maybe you could. I don't know.
Check out how much better these flag emblems look.
Yeah, way better.
And these are fully displayed
HD.
in battle after being customized by the player. Your objective within each region is
that an Irish regiment?
Oust the enemy's primary field army.
So that's the boss of the enemy army you have to defeat because they get stronger over time if you don't deal with them. So it's very much like FTL in that sense. We have to beat the main boss at the end, I assume, but every region has its own boss.
Think of this army as the boss battle for each region.
Yeah.
These boss armies are large and difficult. If you rush straight toward them, not only will you likely lose, but you'll also miss out on all of the opportunities to gain experience for your men, earn loot, and earn money within the region. So in
love the birds. I love the towns. Very much like Battle Brothers here. If you ever play Battle Brothers, this is the exact campaign sort of style that they're taking inspiration from.
Face this army, you need to explore the area.
See the city, you can buy stuff,
which have also
very nice.
Artwork completely overhauled, and
you can also recruit officers, nice.
Each location has randomly generated buildings and randomly chosen conditions that affect numerous things. Don't forget to play into the strategy. People
say the towns and stuff, they look a bit unnatural, but I don't see that, so I don't know.
Of the army and nation you chose. I have Junker aristocracy, improving my officers because I'm Prussia.
And I wonder if you buy horses, do you have to actually equip them to the cavalry so they actually have horses? That'll be interesting.
And I have the canton system from my army I chose, which gives me some free manpower anytime I visit a new town. So I'll definitely.
I assume they use these resources, the money, the food, and the manpower and the ammunition. You need all this for like recruiting units or maintaining them. So the money is used to recruit troops, and the food is, and your ammunition, like your food's meant for like, it's a slowly ticking down, you know, that sort of thing. The manpower sort of is used to reinforce your losses. So, you know, there's some resource management in the game, which I love. Okay. I love managing limited resources. Love it.
Definitely want to focus on exploring lots of settlements to build up my.
I'm hoping you can't just build up, like I'm hoping these resources are hard to get.
Power reserves. In addition to battling armies and restocking or selling goods at local.
That's from the movie Barry Lyndon. That's a Barry Lyndon reference right there. If people don't know what that movie is, it's like a 18th century movie. Very nice. About the 7 Years' War.
You also find numerous encounters scattered around the map. And sometimes these encounters will correlate to your side objectives. These offer role-playing situations for you, and sometimes you'll get a unique dialogue.
Role-playing situations? I don't really role-play in war games because there's no like incentive to role-play, you know? Because when you're playing a war game, you know, you're not really focused on role-playing. You know, you're focused on killing the enemy and winning your objectives and just like taking over maps and stuff like that. That's literally what wargaming is. Destroying your enemies and hearing the lamentations of their women. Nah, jokes.
Option based on a stratagem you have. Once you've explored the map, bought and sold goods, beat several armies.
And you also have this sort of tech tree here where you can unlock units, which I think adds a nice layer of progression. Has some, you know, the stats, I think I mentioned them before, but they look very similar to Ultimate General, which is very nice.
And upgraded your troops.
Anything that's like Ultimate General is a good thing in my book. Because, you know, Total War is like, I don't really like that series. I say it all the time. I think Total War is too arcadey for me.
Ready to take on.
But Warband plays, it's good in multiplayer. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The boss
But in single player, it's just terrible because the AI is just awful. It doesn't know how to use units. They just blob up, you know. I really don't like people, you know, praising Total War when the AI is just terrible.
First, it grows over time and will confront you. If beaten.
And I'm hoping that reserves play a big role in this game, like having regiments behind units. Like, will blobbing be like a thing in this game? I'm hoping it won't. It won't, because Total War has a blobbing problem.
You're taken to the next region, where the season
like, what stops me from charging all my dudes in one big giant blob? Like, I'm hoping there's something that stops that from happening.
Also changed. You can see the new winter art implemented for campaign here.
Very nice.
And so while not too complex, the campaign does offer you some replayability.
It shouldn't be that complex because it is a battle simulator after all. And besides, the Total War campaigns, they're not that good. Like, they're very simplistic, you know, and they've copied that system from every Total War game. The only campaign system I kind of liked, I suppose, would be Shogun Total War, because, you know, I like the... Oh, I guess that's a more simplified system, but, you know, I like the Victorian era stuff in Shogun Total War, or, you know, specifically for the Samurai. I love Victorian stuff. But yeah, that's the only Total War I only like. Shogun Total War for the Samurai, because the Victorian setting.
And immersion for what it'd be like to lead your own army. You'll grow larger over time and
Love the
face
city.
greater and greater challenges on increasingly scaling
It would be cool if you animated the people a little bit, but, you know, it's just a limitation of a small studio.
battlefields that become bigger over time based on the amount of troops that you have deployed. Once you beat the game, you'll have more armies to lead that have their own distinct playstyles.
And it's cool you can customize your own army like this. Very nice.
And your favorite nations will level up over time simply by playing, unlocking you additional
My favorite nation would probably be, I don't know, man, probably Prussia and Austria. I like playing as Austrians. They have really ornate uniforms.
historical regiments to find as rewards in future runs. I think the cherry on top will be adding an Ironman mode for those who really...
Exactly. Ironman mode is the way to go in this game. I'm not going to be playing this game saving and loading. I'm not like that. I know people will be save scumming this game like crazy, like on launch, but I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm going to be playing the hardest difficulty and hopefully I'll win. Okay? I feel like games, you know, they're becoming more easier, and I'm hoping that Griffin doesn't fall in this trap of making, like, appealing to the lowest, you know, people, you know, who don't want to learn video games. Okay? It used to be better back in the day, you know.
Want a deeply challenging roguelike mode where one wrong move could spell disaster for your whole
So it should.
That's it for today. If you're interested in joining...
That's how it was in real life, because, you know, decisive battles, if you have these battles, you know, if you lose it, it's like, oh shit, my army's gone, and there goes my state. You know, it's just... That's how it should be reflected.
Discord link below, and don't forget to wishlist the game.
I can't save and load in real life.
See you next time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that video. The campaign mode is looking very nice. Loving it. I've already signed up for the play testing, but I'm not sure I got selected. And you'll see me in the Discord there talking about it. But yeah, guys, check out Master of Command on Steam. I haven't been paid to do this at all. You know, I'm just observing the progress, and it's gotten way better. You can see that the screenshot here is like an older one that's way different to what we're seeing now. Less cartoony. Very nice. Will this be like a big giant competitor to Total War? No. People should stop making comparisons to Total War, because Total War is a garbage game. I'm sorry, but it is. We shouldn't be comparing apples and oranges, okay? Because this apple right here tastes very nice, and you know the Total War orange is rotten to the core. Okay. Okay, guys, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this sort of breakdown of Devlog 8 of Master of Command. If you want to see more videos like this, please consider it. Please comment. I like to make these breakdowns because I just think they're, you know, gives you another perspective on a game. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.